The goal of this exercise is you guys have a tendency, and it's just writing as a good practice, you guys have a tendency to make things a little more difficult than what they are. You know the information. It is how to put it together. And so what I did is we wrote the similarity paragraph for this already. If you remember the prompt, it was, analyze the similarities and differences between any of the two religions or philosophies of the ancient world, where we did legalism, Confucianism, and Taoism, Hinduism and Buddhism in India, Judaism in ancient Mesopotamia, and the different Greek philosophers. And the goal was, if you remember, you could not compare two from the same region. So no Hinduism and Buddhism, no legalism and Confucianism. And we wrote that similarity paragraph, and I went through every one that you guys did in all three classes, and I kept a little checklist of what were the topics that you guys chose the most. And I created this off of what you guys gave me. So this is your thoughts, things you said. We're just going to put it together. So our goal today, we're going to copy this down. We're going to diagram context, thesis, evidence, explanation, and this is going to be your guide, your blueprint. I'll put this on YouTube, so it's going to be a little boring. You're going to have to fast forward through some parts when all you guys are doing is writing. But when you write your next compare and contrast essay, which is going to be for a test rate, if you get stuck, if you don't know how to word it, look at this template you're writing. Go back and watch this explanation. We're going to give pieces of evidence, then we're going to explain how they link back to our topic. So analyze these two religions. What's analyze mean? What's another word for analyze? What are you doing when you analyze something? Summarize it. Explain it. Ariel says explain. Augie says summarize. Molly, you said?
Annotate, but that's wrong.
And, well, no, you're making sense of it, right? You're going to study it, and you're going to pick it apart. All right. I'm going to show you how this works. All right. So analyze the commonalities. Another word for commonality is similarity. All right, and then contrast the differences. How are they the same and how are they different? We've already done the similarity. Now we're going to do the second body paragraph. So, shortly after the golden age, did everybody see this? Shortly after the golden ages of the river valley civilizations, there were several advancements to religion and philosophy. So write that down. Look up when you're close so I can go ahead and move on, and this doesn't take us all day.
Are we skipping lines?
You can skip lines if you want. If you have a artistic, beautiful writing system like myself, calligraphy, go ahead and skip a line. You don't have to. It's just, I just want you guys to see it clear, and I'm going to draw some labels in there when we are all done. Shortly after the golden ages of the river valley civilizations, there were several advancements to religion and philosophy. Across Asia and southern Europe, between 800 BC and 300 CE. Shortly after the golden ages of the river valley civilizations, there were several advancements to religion and philosophy across Asia and southern Europe between 800 BC and 300 CE. If I move on. Two of these advancements. Two of them to 300 AD. Yeah. Hinduism and Judaism were similar in the fact that, we'll get to that in a minute, were similar in the fact that, boom.
This is the first paragraph,
Yes, yes.
right?
This is going to be our thesis statement and our context.
Okay, not the one that we just printed one.
Correct. So, two of these advancements, Hinduism and Judaism, were similar in the fact that they both had rules or codes of behavior to follow. They were similar, and they both had rules or codes of behavior to follow. Now, this is the paragraph we wrote in class together, where you guys told me it was things like the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, were very similar to Mahariva's tenets, which said you shouldn't kill, you shouldn't steal, you shouldn't lie. They were very similar. All right. One of my favorite words. So the first paragraph is we are talking about how they are what? Similar. However, they have more differences than they do similarities. Hinduism and Judaism are similar and different. What does that tell me?
That they're not the same, but they're, well,
Is it clear?
no.
No, it is not. So, however, they have more differences than similarities. So we're going to talk about more differences. How are we going to tell people this is what we are doing? We are going to be specific. We are talking about what? Differences. You go for a job interview. Why should we hire you? Well, because I'm kind of like them, but I'm like not, and like I'll do a really good job. Are you going to get hired?
No.
Be part of the school subway crew or Chick-fil-A force? No. You are, Eva? You quit the Mediterranean deli?
No, Chick-fil-A.
Oh.
And I went to,
Okay,
they
okay.
paid for that.
Okay, all right. So anyway, why should you hire me? Well, because I can do this, and this. I want to be specific. Two of the biggest differences being their differing views on the afterlife. However, they had more differences than similarities, with two of the biggest being their different views on the afterlife and how India used its religion politically to lock people in their social classes. They were similar in the fact that they both had rules or codes of behavior to follow. However, they had more differences than similarities, with two of the biggest being their differing views on the afterlife and how India used its religion to politically lock people into its social classes. Now, where did I get these ideas? Who said that? Finn? That was from you guys. Of 100 AP World students, these were the top 3, right? Would, and this is kind of an easy one, would this be a thesis statement? Ariel's saying yes, Finn is saying yes. All right. Avery, Grace, Taylor, are y'all saying yes? Yeah. We have laid out 3 specific points. One, similarity, all right, rules and codes of behavior. Second body paragraph, differing views on the afterlife. Third body paragraph, how India used its religion to form the caste system. So here's what my earlier question to you guys about your cell phones was with Google Drive and Google Docs and sharing. You guys know my tests, right? Oh, Mr. Melega, there's 237s, because I'm a fan of doing what? Cutting and pasting, all right? Got like 25 versions of every test. You guys still cut and paste? Is that still a thing?
Yeah.
All right, all right. No Control C, Control V, love that. So now that you've got this thesis statement, you just cut and paste these sentences. They are now your topic sentences. You've already done the work. Just transfer it over into your body paragraphs. We've already written one. Now we're going to do two. But before we get to that, so you guys have told me we have a point for a thesis statement, right? Anybody disagree with this being a thesis statement? Okay, good. Context. Right now, at the movie theater, I was thinking of one, but I got 4 or 5 different choices of popular movies at the movie theater right now. Some of them were interesting and some of them were not. So what are some popular movies at the movie theater right now?
Frozen 2.
Frozen 2. We're going to find out where Elsa got her powers. Her sister is going to go into the dark world with her, and maybe Olaf, we don't even know.
Also Jumanji.
Okay. And we are going to let it go, hopefully. All right. Eva also threw out Jumanji. Patricia, what were you going to say? All right. Jumanji. All right. Jumanji, for whatever reason, the cast of characters has to go back into the game. They're going to the second level of Jumanji. The only problem is they're different characters. Fridge isn't Kevin Hart, all right? The little nerdy guy isn't The Rock. We've got, Danny Glover and Danny DeVito are in the game now. What? What's going on? All right, it's a good movie. Go check it out. All right, and what's her name? The girl whose name is like Aquafina is in the game. All right, so anyway, all right, like literally that's her stage name. All right. Patricia says Little Women. We have a modern adaptation of a women's empowerment movement in the Victorian age in Massachusetts. Woo! All right. And Layla said the granddaddy of them all, Star Wars. So we spent yesterday, first day from break, talking about, if it is like, should I see it? 43 years ago, May 21st, 1977, you were hit with this phrase. A long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Bam! Then you got that scroll. There's some sort of rebellion. A civil war is going on. There's this evil galactic empire. Some lady named Princess Leia's got some stolen plans. And there's a first victor. And you're like, man, this is great. George Lucas literally saved Hollywood and came up with 5 different companies off of that one phrase and the opening in the story, that even if you've never heard of it, you know about things like the Force and Yoda and Luke and Darth Vader. And if you don't, you got to say, well, what moon have you been living on? Like, people get this stuff. Or I had a student yesterday said he saw it when his family was in the Netherlands, and the movie was in English with Dutch subtitles. I'm like, it's a little long. But man, people know, like Star Wars. And so from a long, long time ago to a galaxy far, far away, to the Victorian age in Massachusetts, I think it was, to going back to Jumanji, to letting it go with Frozen, those are all examples of...
What about Knives Out?
That one was good.
I thought that was like Thanksgiving. Was that, okay, Knives Out, okay? Where, love the game of Clue. Speaking of Massachusetts, the house that Clue is based on is in Salem, so Knives Out, very good. All right. We got James Bond. Yeah. So those are great things. So in order to have context, like Frozen and Jumanji and Little Women and Star Wars and Knives Out, what do we got to have? What are the elements of context? Setting.
Time.
All right, so setting would, another word for setting would be Where, all right?
When,
When,
who,
who,
what,
how,
Why?
why. Do we need all of those?
no,
So where are we? What is happening? When is it happening? And what is going on? And if possible, like why is it happening? All right? Do we need all those elements?
no.
No, but if we get most of them, we get the Layla. The first word you said was setting, all right? Which Claire tells us is where. Where is this going on? So let's see if we have context. All right? Now, you've already written this, right? So, somebody tell me if we've got, and where would be an example of one of those things. Finn.
Across Asia and Southern Europe.
Across Asia and Southern Europe. What is that, sir?
Where?
All right, so we got where.
Shortly after the Golden Ages, / 800 BC, both of those are.
All right, so we have two examples of when. So we've got when, we've got where. Anything else?
There were several advancements in religion and philosophy, kind of like what?
Ah, Layla, say that again.
There were several advancements in religion and philosophy, is what?
We got what? Several advancements to religion and philosophy. All right. So we've got when, we've got what, we've got where, we've got a couple examples of each. We've got where it's happening, we've got when it's happening, and we've got what's happening. Would that give us context?
Yep.
Probably. All right. The only other thing we could add is why or how, and that's another couple of words, and we would say each was invented to solve a conflict, solve a crisis, solve some sort of problem. And bam, we have 4 of the 5 elements. So on what we've just written, right now, your AP grader and, Kansas City says, well, these guys, this one at least has a 2. All right? So all this makes sense? All this stuff that you guys know? Again, where did it come from? It came from you guys. All right, so now, here's where you may have to fast forward a little bit. Let's go with the body paragraph. We've already written the similarity. So now we want to focus on the difference. And again, I talked about cutting and pasting. Control-C, Control-V. From the thesis statement, I took this sentence. Second body paragraph, one what?
Different.
One difference. Tell them exactly what it is you are going to do. This is one difference between Hinduism and Judaism is their different views on the afterlife. So I'm now going to spend my time on this paragraph talking about differing views on the afterlife. Everybody got that? Now I'm going to paste this to you guys, so when you're done writing, kind of look up and I'll know to move on. All right? Don't want to rush you, but I want to get through this today. So Ryan, back to the statement about the cell phone. You're wearing a cross-country t-shirt, man. Can't you just gazelle your way home? Oh, you got your iPad. Put it on the front like a parachute, act like it's like weight, that will increase your speed. Think of everything, Ryan. Think of everything. All right. Then you could look like the Rock in Jumanji,
Yeah.
so you don't have to let it go. Yes. All right. We got Ryan today. Woo! All right, victory. All right, victory. All right.
One down.
All right. Hindu practitioners believe in the concept of, oop, that got erased a little bit, concept of the samsara.
What is practitioner?
Believer, yeah.
Wait, it was
Hindu practitioners believe in the concept of the transmigration or samsara, the endless cycle of death and rebirth. Miss Molly.
Is this separate from the one?
Yes, this is now, we're doing, if you look at the thesis thing, we're doing the second body paragraph.
Okay.
We've written the first one, now we're going to do the difference.
Wait, so then what was the thing above it, about the?
That was context.
That was the topic sentence in the first body paragraph.
I did it wrong.
I think it's okay.
Thank you, Grace. It's okay, Molly. It's okay. Hindu practitioners believe we're trying to prove that Hindus and Hebrews have a different view on the afterlife. That's what we're trying to do here. So we're talking about, since Hindu is before Judaism, we're going to talk about Hinduism first. All right? Hindu practitioners believe in the concept of the transmigration or the samsara, the endless cycle of death and rebirth. Everybody with me? All right. For a Hindu practitioner, for Hindus, the goal is to achieve union with Brahman, who is the spiritual force that governs the universe. For Hindus, ultimate goal is to achieve union with Brahman, which is the spiritual force that governs the universe. On your way, Ariel, can you see? Am I good to move on? Avery, I'm going on your nod, so everyone, you and Dimitri, so all right. This also includes the gods and goddesses in heaven. Yes, Molly?
What's it, the spiritual?
Force that governs the universe, I'm sorry.
Spiritual force.
Molly, you need to use the force.
Oh,
All right.
I saw one of those movies, but it wasn't the old one. It was like a new one. It was a few years ago. I'm not sure what
Thank you,
What happened
Molly.
in it?
I don't remember.
For Hindus, the goal is to reach union with Brahman, which is the spiritual force that governs the universe. This includes the gods and goddesses in heaven. Molly, you can pop over in front of Dimitri, okay? I think you'll be okay.
Okay.
I think Dimitri's taller than you are.
Thank you.
I want to this. In order to do this, one must obey the laws of their caste, which is the social group into which they were born, which is the spiritual force that governs the universe. This also includes the gods and goddesses in heaven, clearly saying that Brahman is above heaven. Thank you, Claire. In order to do this, you have to obey the laws of your caste, which is the social group into which you are born. If you are able to do this successfully, you can move up the ladder, so to speak, and in your next life. I know it's a lot here. They successfully do this, they will move up the ladder, so to speak, and in their next life, dun dun dun, cliffhanger. to know when I can switch the sheet. Almost done. Then you guys get to do some labeling. What can you not be afraid to do when we begin to label? Will you probably be wrong, Eliana? No, you probably won't be. Right? So see how we're not texting? All right, we're not just sitting, we are actually explaining. And I'm going to jump back up for a second. Now I'll do that. When I wrote 2 of these, how did I write 2 of these? TWO. Was it 2 thumbs up? Was it the number 2? Was it 2 unicorns? No, it was the word TWO. 2. Everybody good here? All right. You will move up the ladder, so to speak, and in your next life, you can be born closer to Brahman. And Hindus know that this may take many lives. Can you do it in one shot? No, you cannot. Is the darkness of the construction beat getting on anybody else's nerves, or is that just me? Okay.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
No, out of the window, just they're like moving rocks right next to it. It's so funny.
It's really fun to try and play instruments.
That would be rather difficult. Yeah. You got to play louder. You got to set the tone. All right, everybody got it? Hinduism. It'll be a yes and a no.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're going to switch. We've covered Hinduism pretty good. We've now got to show how Judaism is different. So I'm going to use a word. Trying to use like your SAT vocab. In contrast. What does contrast mean? The difference. We're going to tell them how this is different. It's in contrast. It's not the same as. Practitioners of Judaism believe in the concept of heaven. Do you need something, Molly?
Just making sure it was the second paragraph.
Yes, we're continuing on with it. We've covered Hinduism. We're now showing how Judaism is different.
Okay.
In contrast, practitioners of Judaism believe in the concept of heaven, a paradise where they can spend eternity being with and worshiping God. That's our goal, we're trying to get to. Yes, ma'am.
Doesn't, which one believes in Allah?
That's Islam.
Is that different? Yes.
Allah is
Same,
just the Arabic word for God.
yeah, it's the same concept, just a different.
Okay.
All right, so in contrast, practitioners of Judaism believe in the concept of heaven, a paradise where they can spend eternity being with and worshiping God. God can also be known as Yahweh, and He is a monotheistic, all-knowing, powerful God. God, also known as Yahweh, is monotheistic, an all-knowing, all-powerful God. This word here is practitioners. We're almost done. Can I just pull the sheet away? Practitioners of Judaism believe they must follow God's laws during their one single lifetime. Must follow God's laws during their one single lifetime. If they do, they can enter eternal paradise. So let me know when you are finished, and we will put the first sheet back up.
After worshiping, being with them.
Worshiping God.
Oh.
I wrote God twice, that's not good writing, but.
And then there's like a period.
Yes, you know, I'm going to list as my result, as I was doing it, Molly walked in, it was like, hey, it's Melega, what's going on? Molly and Grace came in to visit me in the morning. It's like, hey, all right. 12:45.
I haven't.
Take that. All right. How close are we to this?
What's the word after powerful?
Power of God. That's a God smudged.
Wait, they.
Monotheistic, all-knowing, powerful God, practitioners of Judaism believe they must follow God's laws during their one single lifetime. If they do, they can enter eternal paradise. So, now remember way back when we watched that episode of Bones. Bones and her crew had to find specific clues that would tell them who committed the crime. Those clues are specific pieces of evidence. If you've played, you guys talked about Knives Out, if you played Clue. So my family, we like Clue. For the first time ever, like I had the highest roll and I got to go first. And I moved Colonel Mustard into the dining room. And I brought in Professor Plum. And I'm like, oh, we're in the dining room, I'll choose the knife. Very first time ever in my long history of playing Clue that I solved it on the very first roll. Everybody was mad. And I was like, oh. Like, can we play again, Dad? And I was like, no, because like I can't do any better than that ever. So anyway. But we did play again, and I lost. But that was awesome, just gonna say. So, we are now gonna look for specific pieces of evidence. What is a piece of evidence? We want to know how the afterlives of Hinduism and Judaism are different. Now you guys kind of get a little bit lucky because I got my green and red smudges all over the thing, but what do they mean? Find me a single piece of evidence out there. What is evidence?
Transmigration and samsara.
Avery.
Transmigration and samsara.
Transmigration and samsara are perfect pieces of evidence. I would like for you guys to label, circle, whatever you want to do. Those are pieces of evidence, all right? Any other evidence up here, like a thing that tells us what it is? Any more evidence? Taylor.
Maybe like achieving union with Brahman.
Okay, achieving union with Brahman. Excellent. So now we have evidence. All right. Any other evidence up here? Forgot to erase one. What's cast? All right. All right. Any other evidence up here?
Oh, many lives.
All right. Spiritual force, many lives. Right. How about heaven? Right. Now that we've got this evidence, right, the next question you ask yourself, I've got my evidence, now in the AP world language it's called analysis. All right, we already talked about this a little bit. What is analysis? What does that mean? Guys?
Understanding something.
Understanding something, summarize. Ariel, you said? Explain it. How do we explain this evidence? All right, that's analysis. So if we've got, Avery tells us the transmigration or the samsara, where is our explanation? Where is our elaboration? Like, where is our analysis? What would that be?
Endless cycle of death and rebirth.
Endless cycle of death and rebirth. Bam. All right. All right. What is next? Where is there more explanation or analysis? Taylor?
I guess we labeled it as evidence, but in a way, like when it says it's just a spiritual force, like it's like describing God.
Perfect. Sometimes things can be both. They can be evidence and explanation. So, Brahman is simply the spiritual force that governs the entire universe. Excellent. Now I know what Brahman is, right? And how that relates to the question. So what is our next piece of explanation? Patricia. All right. A caste is simply a social group into which we are born. Right? How do we get to Brahman? What do we have to do? Excellent, Grace Molly. We must obey the laws. In this last part, if they successfully do this, they will move up the ladder, so to speak, and in their next life, right? So all this here is pretty good analysis. So you're just explaining what your evidence is. You guys are great at saying that Hindus believe in the transmigration and the samsara. And what do I write on your papers? Explain that. And I also write a nice 3-letter word. Why? Explain what is that. Well, what have we just done? We've just done all of those things. Now, not quite done. They will be closer to Brahman, and Hindus know this will take many lives. Is that anything? What is it, Owen? Oh, I'm sorry, I put you on the spot. All right. It's pretty much, all right, it's going to take many lives and this is all explanation, correct?
Yeah.
Sorry, Owen. All right. What about Judaism? What we got here? Where's some evidence? Concept of heaven is excellent evidence. Anything else? Taylor?
Yeah, God also.
God, all right. God, also known as Yahweh,
One single lifetime.
one single lifetime. And what about this one? Yeah. Anything else? Any other evidence up there? All right. So, where is our explanation? Where is this explained? Molly.
A paradise where they can spend eternity.
All right. A paradise where they can spend eternity. Boom. All right. Eva? All-powerful, all-knowing God. All right, explains what that is. Excellent. All right. Anything else? Patricia? They can enter eternal paradise. And how long might this take? You can do it in one lifetime. Back at the top, what does it say about Hinduism? And here, if we do it right, we can do it in one shot. So we have, is this all the stuff that you guys know? Yes. Did someone say no? Jacob, you did
I
that?
would limit like everything we know.
No, but I mean, this, about this topic, is that stuff that you guys know, remember? And we just rolled it out, all right? Does it have to be some brilliant new work of historical, interpretation? No, we told them what happened, when it happened, where it happened, right, in our context. We said we were going to show how they had rules to follow or similar. Their differences are in their afterlives. Now, to be really crazy, you could also turn this paragraph into a similarity on your way to fourth period. I'm going to leave this up. If you have questions, come see me at lunch. This is going to be your roadmap from now on. Ira, if you could head off for me, please.